Well, I picked up this big old girl. It's an '02 Grizzly 660. I've been looking for a cheap one because I had questions on how close that 660 mounts comparatively to that 450. Results are not even close. So I had thoughts and aspirations of swapping a 660 into a, don't mind my child, into a 450 frame, but I don't think that will ever happen without some serious modifications. The big difference is that frame right there slants back pretty aggressively, where this one is very elongated for that bigger clutch assembly. So it was at least worth a look-see. You know, always got to be thinking and trying to, you know, be the first to do stuff. So anyways, so with that, this motor is seized. It ran until it was parked 6 years ago. They were having starting issues, and they tore it down a little bit less than this. And he said after putting a new Chinese carb on, it did run for a hot minute, then it shut off again, then he never started. So he said, screw it, put it in the corner. 6 years later, the son where it was being stored wanted it out, so he took it to a guy. He said, it's been sitting too long, the whole thing needs rebuilt. Well, that's not exactly how that works. As Vice Grip Garage, Puddin's Fab Shop, who all the Will It Runs channels, Daily Driven Death Traps, can't forget those guys, have proven that it doesn't matter how long something sits, as long as it was sat in the right conditions, it'll run. However, it is locked up. Where the pull rope is, it is off, but I put a pry bar in there and it will not cycle. So what I am hoping happened is that it has a neat cylinder on it. That cylinder dropped, allowed coolant in, and the piston is frozen to the cylinder. That is what I am hoping for. So I am in the middle of teardown. If you're ever working on a 660 Grizzly, Rhino, or Raptor, pop off this intake cap, and there are these two bolts right here on the inside. Don't forget about those. If you start prying, it'll crack. Now, you may get away with it, but as heat and stress and stuff like that, it'll pop and break and all that good stuff. So let me keep going here. This thing's decently clean. It's got some hours. It's got some hours, but it's not bad. 500 bucks. It's not bad. Make sure your electric wrench is charged. This sucks. 6.6. The Raptors ain't that bad, but this one doesn't have a lot of room. All right, 3 days later, I was able to get all those bolts out. All right. Again, if it's not coming off that easy, kind of like with one good pry, and you didn't take this cap off, you got your interior ones. I'm not seeing a lot of like interior rust. Ow. Like I said, I'm not seeing a bunch of interior rust, so I really don't think this was exposed. Journals look pretty good as well. I wonder if these, so on the Raptor 660s, the head and valve cover are line honed together, and their caps have matching serial numbers right there, and then what would be right there, that's the Yamaha part number. I wonder if these are not that way, which would be interesting. All that means is that this is able to slide a little bit. Dirty oil. Kind of dirty oil, but the cam feels good. And I mean, that oil is milkshaky. So, yep. Like I said, I wonder if it dropped a head gasket and froze that cylinder. So, still looking good for that possibility. Okay, header needs to come off. I already took the timing chain, so then, or timing chain tensioner. So timing chain, take the cam off, unbolt the head, and we'll take a look-see. Well, I found the difficult bolt to get to. There's a bolt that goes in on the front side underneath the intake, and then one underneath the exhaust. They're both 12 millimeters, and there's not enough room. I don't even know if I can show you. So right there's not enough room in between the bolt and the head to get a socket or a ratcheting wrench, so you have to go with the good old traditional box wrench, but it's a bugger. It's a bugger. Well, let's make a ginormous mess with the coolant. Nice, nice. That's exactly what I wanted. There wasn't any coolant in the radiator, so I was kind of surprised. Survey. Well, I don't think that 1/2 inch rust ring is going to allow the cylinder to move. I might have got extremely lucky and maybe just had a bad head gasket. I will say these 4 head bolts weren't very tight. I don't know the torque specs. They were only 12 millimeters. Kind of a small bolt for a head bolt if you ask me. These don't have crazy amount of compression. I think that's like a 10.5 to 1 from the factory. Same as the Raptors. But they weren't very tight at all. Definitely the tightest was that underbolt. So could have been a head gasket issue. A cheap head gasket issue maybe. Yeah, I mean, let's check the underside. Oh, I'm gonna get oil all over my hand. Well, that'll need cleaned up. Jeez. Whew. She ain't light. Well, let's hope for the best on the crank, huh? That's as far as I've gotten it up. I got some PB blast soaking on it because I can't even, lift up on it and smack with a hammer to try to break it free. So that piston's not going back in it, so it doesn't really matter. But rust is pretty thick down there in the bottom after I wiped out all the coolant. So, but the bottom of the cylinder looks pretty good. Typically, if there was rust down in there, you would see it on the sleeve there. So, fingers crossed. There it goes. Whew. Well, I like the way that crank, or that piston just kind of fell over. Oh yeah, she's fine on the bottom end. Once I get that chain out of there. Well, apparently the chain can fall off of these, but oh yeah, look how easy that is. No up and down play. Crank looks really good. The internals look really good. I'll show you here in a second. Look how clean that is in there. That's all oil, all that brown. It's all oil. So, I was trying to see if I thought it locked up prior. No, it looks, maybe head gasket. I still think head gasket. I don't think the top end blew. I don't see any markings on that. Oh, now how clean. Look how clean the bottom of the cylinder is. It's literally just that rust ring up top. That's where the piston was sitting. No up and down, maybe just a little bit right there. But yeah, so I'd assume that head gasket busted, and that's why they had starting issues. Yeah, really clean down inside of there. That's a runner. So we will get a cylinder, try to find OE or a Cylinder Works or something better than niche. And actually, this might have been the OE piston with 3FY on there. 3YF, that is. All right, well, let me do some research, try to find a piston, see if the Raptor is the same or not. I doubt it. They don't share a lot of the same stuff, so have to take a look at it. But good deal, no bottom ends. Editing and kind of forgot to conclude this video. After some research, sure enough, Raptor 660 and the Grizzly 660 are the exact same cylinder, not even like different part numbers or nothing. Exact same cylinder and piston. So I've had parts motor for $200 here a while back. The transmission, hold on. The transmission like exploded on this Raptor 660, locked it completely up, but I mean, that's a Yamaha crank. It's in actually really good shape. Even the clutch basket, barely any wear on the fingers. Very nice. I think it's a low hour, well taken care of machine. Whatever happened here is crazy. I've never seen that. Sent it to a couple buddies. They've never seen it. Crazy work. Anyways, so that cylinder, this piston, literally exact same piston. See, 3YF. Got some rings coming. Check the ring gap on this guy, and it is too big. It's 0.04 for the top ring, and we're probably closer to 6. So I'm assuming worn out rings. The cylinder looks good. I don't have a hone, 100 millimeter big, so we're just gonna have to see. I'm gonna spec it out, and hopefully just new rings will be all right. So like I said, this was a runner, but stay tuned for part 2 on that big old girl. They need loving too. So keep between the ditches. That's where you intend to go. Keep an eye out for a Wolverine video, doing some custom stuff to it. See how it turns out.